As we are done with the introduction to JMeter, now let us start with recording. Now in this module we would be studying about automated recording. But first, what is recording? Right? So this is the question that would come into your mind. Now let us start with recording and then we would be working with it. Okay. So I just need Epic Pen, so let me just start it. Now, as the name says recording, this means that we would be recording something. But what we would be recording and how we would be working with it. So the thing is, we would be recording the scenario. Now, what is scenario? Right. So scenario is the idea of the execution plan. Okay. Say execution plan. Now, execution plan is something whatever you've planned on executing on your test. For example, let us go to this website. So over here, suppose the execution plan is like this. We need to go to a website, say jmeter.apache.org. Here in this website, once we have done loading this page, we need to request some other page, for example download releases, and after we have gone to this page we need to go to this link, that is change history. Okay, so there are 3 steps involved. Let us jot them down. So step 1, that is jmeter.apache.org, then download releases, then change history. Okay, so there are 3 steps involved. Now how do we record these steps? Right, how do we want the JMeter to execute these steps? But before executing these steps in JMeter, we need to record them so that we can execute them. Right, so it is very easy. Now what we would be doing is, first we need to start JMeter. So JMeter is stored over here in this directory, A drive, batch, then this pre-recorded videos, and over here this is the file. Okay, so Apache JMeter.jar is the file that you need to run. Now I'm executing it and it would be open in a minute. Now over here the thing is, we need to make some configuration changes so that we can be able to record the test. Okay, now before starting to record, there are few things that we need to discuss. So the question, the first thing is proxy server. Okay, now you might be confused, why am I introducing proxy in JMeter, right? So JMeter, actually what it does is, whenever we want to use a automated recording, okay, it uses a proxy server so that it would be able to read the data. Okay, now how does proxy server work? So actually the proxy server works something like this. Suppose this is our own system. Okay, so let us just consider this as a laptop. Okay, and this is internet. Right now whatever we are doing is, the requests are getting sent directly. For example, I'm sending this request. Okay, it is getting response back as well. So over here the request is being sent, the response is being received. This way there are so many requests which are being sent and responded back. But what if there is a proxy server? So suppose there is a proxy server. Okay, there is a proxy in between. So the request would be sent to this server. Then this server would forward that request to the internet. Now whatever response or internet sends, that would be sent to the proxy server, and that proxy server would be feeding that response back to us. Okay, so instead of directly communicating, now we would be communicating indirectly with the help of a proxy server. Right, so let us start with this. Now as you can see that JMeter is started, so first thing we need to do is, we need to add an element. Now what kind of element do we need to add and how do we add it? It is pretty easy. Right click over the test plan, go to add, and that element that we are going to add is non-test element. Okay, now why non-test element and which type of element we would be adding? Because as you can see that there are three different types of elements. Now the element that we would be needing is this, that is HTTPS test script recorder. Now as you have a question in your mind, why non-test element? This is because this won't be included in the test plan execution. Okay, non-test element. Now it is pretty confusing that we are using a non-test element to build up a test plan and we are not using it for the test plan execution. So the thing is HTTPS, or you can say that HTTP recorder, okay, what it does is it listens to the requests, it records them and it provides them to us. But again, the HTTPS recorder, okay, it is not needed for us while the execution of the test, right? Because it won't be able to do anything for us. So that is why what we do is we keep this under the non-test elements part and we use it. Okay, so I've added it. Now the next thing what we need to do after this, okay, so the thing is there are two things which are common in all the elements of JMeter, that is name and comments. So we would be moving on from this. Now there are other things, that is state, global settings, test plan creation, request filtering, HTTP sample settings, right? Now the first thing is this, that is state. Now it should be on the stopped state. So whenever it is on the stopped state, you would be able to see the start button enabled. And whenever it is on the started state, it would be showing you two buttons, that is stop and restart. Right now we are making some configuration, so that is why it should be on the stopped state. After that, once you are done making the configuration, you need to start this. Okay, then you would be able to see only two buttons, that is stop and restart. Okay, now coming to the global settings. So as you are aware of the proxy servers, that they run on some IP address and port. Okay, it can be IP address or the server address. Okay, now the next thing is port. So suppose there is a proxy server, it is running, so it would be providing you two things, that is the server name and the port number. So the port number on which you would want to run your proxy server is this. Okay, you can change this port number. By default it is 8888. You can change it to 8000 or any other number, any other 4-digit number. Okay, 4-digit or 5-digit number less than 65535. Okay, you can use any of the port numbers. So I'm keeping it to the by default port number, that is 8888. If this port number is being used by some other application on a system, then you can use some other port number. Okay, now the next thing, that is test plan creation. So how would you want to create the test plan and how the things are going to work? So first thing is the target controller. Now what is the meaning of a controller, right? So controller is something that acts as a folder. Okay, so controller act as a folder. Okay, so these act as a folder. Now how do we work with these, right? So the thing is, the target controller, we need to specify the folder where we need to record the content. So we would be recording the content over here in this, that is test plan / HTTPS test script recorder. There is another option, that is use recording controller. This would be used, but the thing is we need to learn more about logical controllers that we have not studied yet. So once we are done studying about logical controllers, you can start using this recording controller as well. Till now we would be using this HTTPS test script recorder. Okay, now over here there are other things. So first of all, let us start this. We have done the basic configuration, so we would be starting it. Now the moment I start it, it gives you some notification. Right now just ignore this notification, and now you can see that there is a pop-up window which would be open all the time. Now you can record the things, but as you can see that I'm requesting something and that wouldn't be getting recorded. For example, I'm going to download releases again, or say I'm going to properties reference, and nothing is showing up over here. As you can see that there is no mark over here, there is no negative or plus mark, right? It is totally empty. Now what we need to do, we need to specify proxy. Okay, we need to specify the proxy for the system. Now again, proxies of two types, so let us discuss that first. So types of proxy. Now the proxy is of two types, as I told you. So the first one is proxifying whole system. We can call it proxy, or sometimes we call it tunnel. Okay, so tunneling whole system or proxifying whole system, this refers to the same thing. So I would be naming this as tunneling whole system. Okay, now apart from this, what we would be doing, right? We have specified the proxy for the whole system. Apart from this, we have the another option, that is tunneling specific browser only. Okay, so how do we work with these? First of all, let us learn about tunneling whole system, then we would be moving on to browser only. Okay, so over here, you need in Windows, what we need to do is we need to go to start menu and start typing internet options. Okay, and internet options. Sometimes it shows us in this thing earlier, sometimes it shows us after the whole sentence, say word has been typed. Okay, so we need to open this. Now you can see that a window is open. Now it would be showing you some general and some other information. Now quickly move to connections tab. Here in connections tab, you need to click on LAN settings, and then you need to uncheck the option automatically detect settings. Apart from that, you need to check the option that is use proxy server for your LAN. Okay, then specify the address. Now the address is this, that is 127.0.0.1, and the port number is 8888. Okay, you need to specify these things. Now just click on OK and OK once again. Right, now you have specified the proxy for your whole system. Now if you request some page, for example, I'm requesting some page that is, say, jmeter.apache.org. Okay, this is the home page of JMeter, right? So over here you can see that something has been recorded now. Okay, if you notice over here, this request has been recorded and it is showing us some information, that is web server, protocol is HTTP, the server name is jmeter.apache.org, and other thing is blank. Okay, now you might be confused what kind of element it is and why, how it is showing this information, right? So this is a sampler. Now what is a sampler, right? So sampler is something that replicates user action. So how it would be replicating user action? So it would be actually right now we are just recording the things. So this is the thing which would be replicating the user action. But first, let us not replicate the user actions. Let us just record the things. Okay. We would be learning about how we can replicating the user actions later. Okay, as you can see that it has recorded few things. So this is the first request. Apart from that, it has recorded some image, that is ASF logo / SVG, and there is some another image, that is logo.svg. Okay, apart from that, there is nothing which has been recorded. So this is the first request which has been recorded. Now we need to record some other requests. So we would be going to getting started. So I'll just click on getting started, and you can see that another set of requests have been recorded. Earlier we had the number till 3 only, now we have the number till 7. So there are other requests which have been recorded, and actually the number is still 8 if you notice over here. Right, so there are 5 requests which has been recorded. The first one is this getting started. Apart from that, there is some images. Right, you can notice over here this is also an image, that is template parameters.png. Right, So this is how it works actually. This is how it records the things. But now, as you can see that we have three set of requests. So suppose I would be going to change this history. Right. Now you can see that a lot of requests are getting recorded. Okay. A lots and lots of requests are getting recorded. Now the thing is that, do we need these requests? Okay. Or suppose we have a lot of requests, then how do we differentiate between these number of requests? Right. There are a lot of requests and we might be getting confused between the different set of requests. Right. So there are few things that we need to do. First of all, we need to group the requests. Okay, right? As you can see that earlier the number was still 7. Now after 9, there are a lot of requests and the number has went up to 221. So 221 minus 9 and that becomes 212. Right? So there are actually 212 requests related to the third group. Right? So how do we differentiate between these requests? It is pretty easy. First of all, what we need to do is that we need to remove all the requests that we have recorded. Okay. Now there is a motive behind this. Actually, we need to group the requests. Right. So I would be removing all the requests now. Now coming back to this HTTPS script recorder, we need to go to this grouping option. Here the option is which is selected to this is that is do not group samplers. Now there are 4 options. Out of these 4 options, there are 2 options which are almost common. Apart from that, there are 2 different options as well. So let us first learn about add separator between groups. So now it would be adding some separators. So let us start recording something. So we would be going to jmeter.apache.org homepage. We need to check whether the page has been requested. Okay, so the page has been loaded from the cache, browser cache. We need to reload this page now. So I would be re-requesting this page. As you can see that the request has gone through. So the page has been reloaded from the internet now. As you can see that this is the request which has been recorded and that is jmeter.apache.org. Now let us go to the next request, that is we clicked on getting started. Right. So get started. Now this is the next set of requests. As you can see that there is a separator now. Right. Now after this we would be going to this change history and we would be recording this again. As you can see that change history has been requested and nothing has been recorded because this page has been loaded via cache. So we need to re-request this page. Okay, I'm reloading this page and let us see what happens. So as you can see that the page has been requested and over here you can see a number of requests going through. Okay, and the page has been loaded actually. So this is the third set of requests. First set of requests, second set of requests and third set of requests. Right? Now it is adding a separator in between actually. So every time you're requesting some page, okay, for example we would be going to release notes. So over here it is recording these things, right? So this is how actually it is recording things and this is how it is separating things so that we can get to know what part of which sampler is part of which request. Right. Now this is about grouping. Okay. Now this is about grouping and adding separators. Now we have other 2 options as well. That is put each group in a new controller, or we can see that put each group in a new transaction controller. See, whenever it comes to controller, the thing is same. The controllers work the same way, but there is a simple difference between a simple controller and a transaction controller that we would be learning more about when we would be learning about the logical controllers. You can watch that video, but first go through these basic recording and manual recording videos, then you can switch on to those videos as well. Okay, now I would be using this put each group in a new controller option, or I can use this option as well. So let us just use this put each group in a new transaction controller option. Okay, now I would be restarting this and this has been restarted. Now what we need to do is we need to just remove the content whatever we have recorded. Now we would be going back to this page and let us say we need to go to this JMeter home. Okay, so JMeter home is getting requested. Now we need to reload this page. Let us see whether it has been recorded or not. Okay, so again the page has been loaded via cache. So what we need to do, we need to refresh this page. Okay, this problem doesn't arise when you're working with a scenario which has not been opened on the browser earlier. Okay, this comes up only and only when you're using some websites which have the option of browser caching enabled. For example, this website, this has been taken on a browser cache end so that it should be opened directly, okay, to make it fast. Now as you can see that something has been recorded with the 232 number. There are two requests which have been recorded, that is 232 and 233. Now this is the part of first request. Now the next request, so say download releases. So we need to click on this download releases link and we have been taken to this page, and you can see that download JMeter.cji has been requested. Okay, so this is the page which has been requested. Now apart from that, suppose we're going to this changes history. Okay, so changes history would be recorded and it has been taken from the browser cache, so we need to refresh this page. So see, this is which happens with the static pages. Actually the data does not get requested from the server. If it is directly available, it just opens that data. Over here you can see that now the changes history is getting requested and there are some number of requests which are related to it. But now as you can see that there are 3 different requests, so we are able to see 3 different things only. Apart from that, they have some data nested inside them, but we are only able to see 3 different things in the front, right? So this is very helpful. This is allowing us to differentiate between the different type of requests so that we should not be getting confused later, right? So this is about grouping with the new controller. Now we have the option as well, that is store first sampler of each group only. Now suppose you just want to record the first sampler of each group. This can be done as well. Okay, this is helpful in sometimes, right? Now what we need to do is, say over here, say we're going to this page, that is download releases once again. Okay, now this time it won't be recording much of the things. Okay, you can see that it is just recording some things and it is not recording the subsequent part of requests. For example, if I go to Java docs, okay, it is just recording one request. If I go back and say if I click on this change history, okay, and I re-request this page, okay, so over here you can see that changes history is getting recorded. Okay, the number is 248, right? So over here this has been recorded. Now let us just go to a page, that is say functions reference, right? Now over here you can see that this has been recorded and there is a jump between the numbers. Now 249 is missing. So what it is doing is, it is actually recording the things, but it is skipping the subsequent requests. It is just recording the first request which is needed. Okay, so this is how this option works. Now we are done with the grouping part. Okay, now suppose you would want to name the requests as well, right? So suppose you have a group of requests, you would want to specify a prefix with them, right? So it is pretty easy. Where we need to specify, so first of all we need to go over here. I'm just highlighting that part. Okay, so you need to specify the prefix over here. Okay, now how would we specify? It is easy. So I would be specifying a name over here. So suppose the name is, say, getting started. Okay, and right now I'm not grouping any of the samplers, so it would be recording all the samplers. Now going back to this page, and I would be clicking on getting started. Okay, here it might have recorded. You can see that it has not recorded anything, right? So we need to refresh this page. Now you can see that getting started has been recorded, right? There is a name getting started before this request name. So suppose we are done with getting started, we can specify some other name and say downloads. right? So now we would be going to the download releases, and you can see that I've refreshed this page so that it would be recorded in any way. So you can see that now downloads is getting recorded. There are two things which are getting recorded. Download jmeter.cgi, it has been repeated because I refreshed that page. But let us leave this thing. You can see that the name is coming up. If I click on some other, say component reference, and I've not specified the name, so it would be recording the things with the same name, downloads, right? So this is how it records. Okay, this is about specifying the names with the request. Now we can filter out the requests as well. As you can see that there are lots and lots of requests getting recorded, right? And we may need them, we may not need them. So suppose there are images. So images are not part of the test, right? Whenever we are say working on a test, we don't need the images to be load tested, right? So what we need to do is we need to exclude these. Now over here, how we need to exclude these? It is pretty easy. Go back to this HTTP test script recorder. Here, go to request filtering part. Here, you use the basic available option, that is add suggested excludes. Here it is a regular expression. If you know about regular expression, you would be able to understand it very easily. Otherwise, we would be learning about regular expressions in the coming lectures. So let us just use this right away. Okay. Now over here, BMP, CSS, JS, GIF, ICO, JPEG, JPG, PNG, SWF, WOFF and WOFF2 files would be ignored. Okay, so over here there are some other files as well, that is say PNG. So as you can see that PNG is specified over here, so we don't need to worry about that. Suppose TXT would also be recorded, so we don't need the TXT file. Now how do we specify? We just need to specify it like this, that is TXT. Okay, and now it would be excluding TXT files as well, right? Now coming back to this test plan creation, unspecify the name over here and select all the samplers, okay, that we have recorded, delete them, right? Now the requests would be going through once again. Let us just refresh this page, and over here you can see that few things are getting recorded. 415 component reference has been recorded, but no image has been recorded, right? So we would be going to this, say, change history now. Let us refresh this page, and over here you can see that the number has jumped from 415 to 417. There might be some images which has not been recorded, and over here now we would be going to download releases, right? So 417, 418 is missing, 419 is there, right? Now let us restart our browser. So it should be requesting the changes history again. Say changes history, it should be re-requesting the whole page. As you can see that the page is loading, and 419 is the changes history. Okay, it has loaded it from the cache once again. So see, over here we are requesting few things, those things are getting recorded, and it is actually it is just skipping out the data which has the extension .png, .svg, .bmp, .css, .js, .gif, .ico, right? So all these extensions are being skipped now. Okay, now the thing is, as you can see that I told you one thing, that there are two ways of specifying proxy. We were working on with the first type of proxy. Now what happens is that, suppose we are recording things in jmeter.apache.org and the browser we are using is Chrome. All of a sudden there is some other browser, and say it is Internet Explorer, okay, and it starts requesting some page. Okay, so it is taking us to go.microsoft.com, right? So right now I would be requesting this page, that is changes history. So what happens is that it starts recording things over here. Okay, You can see that changes history is getting recorded 427 and it is going up to 430. So is it actually going till 430? And is SVG skipped or not? So as you can see that SVG is not skipped, so that is why it is getting recorded. So we need to specify SVG as well. Now notice the number, that is 430. So over here in this browser, if I go to download releases, you can see a leap jump between the numbers. This is 430 and this is 644. Right, so that is approximately 214 requests in between. So you can see that the images are being skipped, but the requests are going through. Okay, it is recording the things, but the images are being skipped. All the items that we want to skip are getting skipped. Okay. Now this was about recording the simple websites. Now in the next part you would be able to see how we can record the HTTPS websites. Right now if you notice over here, if I request a HTTPS page, so suppose HTTPS, okay, and I'm requesting this page, okay, it is opening, okay, it is not supposed to, so say let us go to some other page. Okay, you can see that I requested this page and now it is giving me a prompt that your connection is not private, right? And it is giving us an error, certificate authority invalid, right? So this might be the issue that you would be facing. But the first issue is that we have specified the proxy for the whole system. We don't want things to be recorded on the whole system, right? So how do we record the things that we need? Okay, so for this, first of all, we need to unspecify the proxy. So internet options, uncheck the button, okay, that is over here, use a proxy server for your LAN connections. It is up to you if you want to check this option, that is automatically detect settings. It doesn't work well for me, so that is why I've kept it unchecked. Now I'll click on OK. Right, click on OK once again. Now the proxy has not been specified. You can see that the page would be loading now, and you can open this page. Okay, now this part is done. Now what we need to do is that we need to use a browser. So suppose I'm using Firefox. Firefox is one of the browsers which allows you to specify a proxy on its own. We don't need to specify the proxy for the system. Okay. Now what we need to do over here in Firefox, go to menu, then go to options, then scroll down to the bottom of the page, go to settings, and over here specify the manual proxy configuration. Now you need to specify the address. It can be localhost, it can be 127.0.0.1, and the port number should be 8888. Okay. Check this option, use this proxy server for all protocols, okay, and click on OK. Once you're done doing this thing, you need to do one more thing. So you need to go to this privacy and security, again scroll down to the bottom of the screen, go to view certificates, and over here as you can see that I've already added a certificate, so let me just delete it. Okay, so over here you would be able to see the screen like this. Click on import, go to the directory where JMeter is stored. So this is the directory where my JMeter is stored. I would be opening this file rootca.crt and I'll open this. You can see that it is asking me for a few things, so just check both of the options and now click on OK. You can see that it would be installed and you would be able to see this thing, that is JMeter root CA for recording, install only if it is yours. Right, now you can see that this has been installed. Click on OK. Now you can try opening the website, that is https jmeter.apache.org, right? And you can see that this is opening now. If I go to the JMeter, you can see that the site is opening, right? And it would be getting recorded as well. So somewhere, somehow, you can see that it is recording this website, and let me just cross check. You can see that https jmeter.apache.org, and it is recording this port number as well, right? Now this is how you can record the HTTPS websites. Let us record something else as well. Let us just go to Amazon.in. Okay, so you can see that this is also on HTTPS, and it is also getting recorded. It is able to load this website as well, and it is recording this website as well. If you have not specified the certificate, you won't be able to open this website. Okay, you can see that the requests are going through. Okay, there are lots of requests and it is recording all the requests. Okay, the page has been loaded. We can refresh this page. Okay, over here in JMeter, you can see that there are few things which are getting recorded as well. Okay, now over here, the thing is, you can see that now you can record things. Okay, you can record the things the way you would want to. And over here, I'm opening this website on this Internet Explorer, sorry, Chrome. So that is why it is not recording that. So let us do one thing. Let us go to this, and now I would be opening Amazon.in. This confuses us a lot whenever we are using multiple browsers. You can see that now Amazon.in is opened, and over here you would be able to see the requests related to Amazon.in. Okay, so say IMDb, it is recording a lot of requests. You can see that Amazon.in, right? So there would be the request somewhere, as we have not used the grouping option, so that is why it is recording a lot of requests. So this is the actual request, https www.amazon.in. Okay, so this is now in this lecture what you have learned till now. Okay, so let me just jot it down. Grouping of requests. Okay, let us for the first main thing, recording of requests. Then grouping, and then say excluding few requests, and we have learned how we can specify proxy. Okay, and we have learned how we can use certificates. Okay, so this is about automated recording. You can use automated recorders to say record the scenarios. In the next module, we would be learning about the manual recording. Thank you.